You're all good.
Good morning, everybody. How are you? This is Scarlett Mancini from Boynton Beach, Florida. Today is November 18th, 2019, 7:30 a.m. New York Times. Today we are going to go for law number 8. We are reading the 21 Irrefutable Law of Leadership, John Maxwell. But before we need to talk about our system, we do have three main pillars, and it's education, personal consumption, and duplication. And education is the main pillar of the organization because we acquire knowledge, skills, values, beliefs. We learn leadership abilities and personal development, financial intelligence, and social media and teamwork. And we have personal consumption because we change brand. We use this brand and this brand became number one for personal products that we acquire every month. Has body lotion, toothpaste, makeup, hand lotions, shaving cream, shampoo, protein shake, vitamins, weight loss program, etc. And duplication because we do this every month, and every single person that gets into our team do the same as well. We also have 2.5 hours a week for webinars. We have Bye Bye Bus, 3 webinars, Monday, Wednesday at 7 p.m. and Thursday at 7 a.m. And Popeye's spinach, which is today, we have it on Mondays only at 7:30 a.m. And at the moment, we do have Where Does the Money Come From at 6 p.m. So in total, is only 2.5 hours a week. What we do is we have online business, and where we have no investment, no need to sell, no need to physically attend weekly meetings, and free online training, which is great. We learn about entrepreneurship, financial intelligence, personal development, leadership communications, teamwork, technology, social media, a healthy, united, friendly, and fun global community, a novel and enriching win-win culture, a global opportunity that is lucrative, duplicable, and scalable. And why and how we do it. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo and thinking outside the box, helping others succeed by creating more time and money in their lives. We challenge the status quo by offering an online business model, beautiful designed, simple to use, user-friendly. Today, the law of magnetism is the 9 of 21 irrefutable law of leadership. And all it says is to succeed as a leader, you have to build a great team around you. Now, to build a great team, you have to know who you are looking for and what qualities you desire. Like, I have a list of characteristics or qualities that my team can have. For example, they have to be honest and transparent. They have self-confidence, have a high drive, like meaning determination to work harder than most and make sure things get done. And they have to be flexible and responsible, value growth. And but this is my personal list. So if you haven't done that list, I would suggest you do it. And like John Maxwell said, who you attract is not determined by what you want. It's determined by who you are. So it is very important if you have a list of people quality that you need into your team. And like Saji Gijemi said, he's actually one of these part of the John Maxwell group, and he's like a professional speaker and success coach. He says, if you don't like what you see, you might have to change who is looking. So the law of magnetism, you shape your organization, your team, based on what you value. Like if you don't like what you see on your team, check who you are as a leader. There is something in your magnetic field that is attracting people with a peculiar behavior to you. It is like oil and water. No matter how strong you mix them, they eventually will settle apart. So besides, you play a huge role in shaping the culture of your organization. The current culture in your organization was shaped in part by who you are, what you do, what you value, what you model, and who you reward. And believe it or not, you have attracted people with the same qualities by the law of magnetism. And if you look around, even friends that you have, your team, you will see that you have some qualities, and they are very similar qualities. And that's what it is, the law of magnetism. And the people who are drawn to you probably have more similarities to you than differences. And it's possible that you and the people who follow you share a few following characteristics, like I'm going to say, for example, generation. Some of them might have, same age. Some of them are ranging in that area. Not that everybody's going to be same age, but around that, same age according to how old are you, and you will tend to attract those people. And attitude, for example, that's another characteristic. Is like the second, and is, in my case, I like to be positive, and attitude to me involves emotions and feelings. Therefore, you have to be positive thinking, and positive thinking is a decision. Okay, so we can build good character with this. In a background, for example, the background, you tend to attract people with the same background that you have. Maybe a different, know where you're coming from, but perhaps it could be like a religion, it could be so you like to dance, or you like to write, or different. If you're a professional person, you tend to attract professional people, things like that. And values, people are attracted to leaders whose values are similar to their own. It doesn't matter whether they shared values are positive or negative. It's either way, the attraction is strong. And for example, Martin Luther King Jr., he attracted huge followers. But on the negative side, also Hitler attracted a lot of followers. See, so this really, really happened. And John Maxwell said, whatever characteristic you possess is what you likely find in your followers. Energy, for example. People with similar energy level are attracted, to one another. Giftedness. You will not follow like a bad leader. So they are attracted to talent and excellence, entrepreneurs who wants to follow leaders, who have succeeded in the venture. And leadership abilities, for example, and the leader you attract will have leadership ability similar to your own. So as stated in the law of respect, if you are a three, when it comes to a leadership, you will hardly attract sixes and sevens. So how to lead with the law of magnetism? Increase your leadership. If you are not happy with the leadership ability of the people you're attracting, embrace the law of the lead, embrace the law of the process, and work to increase your leadership skill. Number 2, increase your level of self-awareness. In addition to increasing your leadership, you also need to increase your level of awareness. If there is a disparity between your image of yourself and your employees, or in this case, your team, your level of self-awareness may be low. And last one, third, is get a mentor. So another way to lead with law of magnetism is to get yourself a mentor. If you are not attracting people with qualities you desire, you might give to find mentors who are willing to help you grow in each area where you need help. So to me, the law of magnetism is very important. And as I was saying, to me also is very important attitude. And positive thinking plays a really very important role, and because it involves emotions and feelings, and it depends on how your emotions are, you will also affect whatever answer you are giving to your same team. When you're participating, when you are giving an answer, sometimes you can feel, oh, she has a bad attitude. So it's very important to be positive, and we need to create this, and we need to build it. So I will open the room for you to participate or give any feedback or tell us any experience that you had before.
Charmaine, you want to go ahead?
Yes, Jeffrey, thank you. It's very powerful what you shared here, Scarlett. And that for me, when I was speaking with Jackie about joining, our team, I had to, like you said, probably maintain being positive, because I could have easily been stopped when she said, she'd be on a couple of times and she didn't do it. She wasn't able to get on. Just me maintain being positive and just keep persisting and ask her one more time. And then she came on and then she joined. And then I find that it's sometimes a challenge for me, because sometimes I hear a no and I'm like, that's it, I'm done. So I'm challenged to keep, maintain being positive. And then I'm getting that I lead by example. If I'm not persisting, then how could I ask anyone on my team to persist?
Yeah, you are you're challenged with that. And I was actually telling you last time, I have a friend, and because I tell everybody, but I just, sometimes they need time. And and this friend was telling me at the beginning, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the webinar. And I sent her the link, and she told me, I have 3 webinars, tell me what time. She told me the time, but the time came and she didn't even download the app. So I was like, I got upset, but at the same time, I was like, I cannot get upset, because otherwise, it won't go anywhere. I won't solve anything. So we have to have patience, you know, in this kind of situation. And what I told her is like, listen, are you really interested? Because if you're interested, I wait for you. But if you are not, it's okay too. You know, we're still friends, but I just want to let me know so I can keep asking you, or, you know, because I don't want to feel like I'm pushing you to do something. So she told me, no, I want it, but it's not the time, you know, because she's very busy. So, okay, so I'm just waiting for the right moment.
Great.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's another person who works with Jackie, and I was inviting her to the call, and she shared, you know, she's having some, this is ironic, financial problems, and she cannot see beyond that right now, you know, what she's dealing with. And I just said, okay, thank you for listening, and you know, in a couple months I'll speak with you again. So I just got that and moved on, and left it open for her to either communicate with me, or I'll just touch base with her again in a couple months.
Yeah, and it's funny because you think that your friends, because I started inviting everybody from, you know, my family, my closest, and then my friends, and you might think that you are going to get it faster because you're going to ask them, they are closer to you, but sometimes not. It's not, that's not the case. So it's a little challenging, but we can do this. You know, we can do this. We just need to be patient and persistent. And I have like many people online, like they are very busy, but they just want to do this, you know?
Yes.
All right. Can I say something?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
please.
All right. It's a great topic. All right. Certain thoughts that I have on this subject. One of in the beginning, you mentioned on the law of magnetism, who you are is who you attract, and I agree with that. And I want to go into it in a little bit more detail. Who I am is basically what I'm focusing on, what, you know, our mind is focusing on. We have 100% control over what I believe in, what you believe in. And what we believe in is, it's a bit like the iceberg. We have our conscious mind, that's the tip of the iceberg, but underneath the water is the big part of the iceberg, and there's all the subconscious beliefs that we're not even aware of. And those thoughts that are deeply held in the subconscious have energy. And the thoughts will create emotions, and emotions are energy in motion. So almost all of us have suffered wounds. Could be psychological, spiritual, physical, and then that affects our emotions. And the wound has a message. When we get wounded, when we're 5 years old, 7 years old, 10 years old, we as little children will decide what it means. That's the message in the wound. Or maybe somebody spoke it over us, like almost like a curse, right? They brainwashed us to believe we're not good enough, whatever. So the wound carries a message, and that is a very energetic thing. So we're going to tend to attract people from that place. And the power of this, there was you can find it on YouTube. It's an experiment where there's 3 big jugs of water and a high-powered microscopic camera that was positioned behind each of these jugs of water. So what they had is they had people come up to each jug of water and just stand in front of that jug of water and focus on a thought. Like, for instance, love. Just think love and focus on love. And the camera microscopically would take a picture of how the water molecules would come together. And then they had the other jug, and people were to focus on heat. And the camera positioned behind that water jug took a photo of how the water molecules configured themselves. And they were very distinct. Okay, so thoughts are powerful. Thoughts are things. And they've also done this with rice, cooked rice. Just over a month's time, if you go by this bowl of cooked rice and just give it thoughts of love, it turns into this wonderful thing. But if you ignore it completely, it turns into something awful. It's smelly and bad and moldy. And if you also have another bowl of rice, cooked rice, and you walk by and you curse it, you say you hate it, whatever, it also turns into something really nasty. So what I've learned from this is that life is, in our, whatever we're doing, whatever result we want to have, if we don't have the result, whether it's in our health or when it's our finances, our relationships, find somebody who has that, already done it, right? And what you're going to find is they were being a certain type of person and they were doing certain actions in order to create the result. B plus B equals half. Now, you can look at our system, SL21 2.0, and the doing part is super, super, super simple. You can look at anything, for instance, real estate. And over time, someone's going to learn very quickly what to do. But there's a huge difference between the super successful and those that are not successful. They're doing the same thing, but who they're being is completely different. And that being is the intangible, right? And I'm going to come back to this in a second. So we are literally magnets attracting people to ourselves from an energetic point of view based on mostly our subconscious belief about ourselves. We're not even conscious of what we really believe about ourselves. And especially if there's wounding, and that every single cell of our body carries the wound until it gets healed, and the message, like, I'm not good enough, or people are always going to hurt me, or I'm not lovable, whatever the case might be, right? And so we attract people to ourselves. Now, here's an interesting thing. Have you ever noticed when you're around somebody and you like something about them, you like a characteristic that you are perceiving in that person, you likely possess that characteristic. You are being that characteristic. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to identify it. Again, I'm going to say it. You get around somebody and you really like that person for some reason. And it's because they're being a certain characteristic. And for you to be able to spot it, it's because it's in you. You can be that person. In a similar way, if you're ever around a person and you don't like something about that person, you don't know what it is, you just don't like it, right? Quite often, it's because that person is being in a way, they possess a characteristic that I have, that you have, and it's a blind spot. It's something that I can be and do that I have not yet brought into my consciousness. I'm in denial about it. I don't want to own that part of me yet, okay? And this is where the great value is it's called, if you spot it, you got it. If you spot it, you got it. And it's very, very, very easy to point the finger and judge the other person, but there's no value in that. The value comes from, why is this person irritating me? You know, maybe the person is really being like abusive, right? So why am I staying in that situation? Yeah, why am I enabling the situation? Or why am I, yeah. So it's good questions to ask as we reflect on ourselves. Now, let me go back to the point that I talked about is what happens when we get healed? Because we've all been wounded. Well, when we get healed, we tend to attract the same type of person, a wholer person, and somebody who has really done the work on themselves. So they're not just saying they're positive, they are positive. They're not just saying they're patient, they are patient. Right? And they're not getting frustrated. They are persistent. They're not just saying they're persistent. They're not just saying they're punctual, right? They're actually have done the work to do this. So I want to, finalize this with, I'm Christian, and you don't have to be Christian, but when Christ walked this earth 2,000 years ago, he recruited 12. And the first 4 that he recruited were 2 sets of brothers, fishermen. That was their business. And it was really what they were doing for business. And he walked by the shore. These 2 sets of brothers were at shore, their boats were at shore. And his beingness, who he was being, he walked by the first set of brothers and said, "Follow me, and I'll make you fisher of men." He was being in such a way that, I forget, it was Peter, immediately followed him. And so that's kind of what's, we're not going to ever, be, because he was fully man and fully God. So, but we can aspire to, get healing and then become through work to become like that. And that's a transitional figure. A transitional figure is somebody that comes into our life and we go, wow, based on the results that I see in this person's life, because results they're always fair. Sometimes they're harsh, but they're always fair. So in our business, if we don't have results, in our health, we don't have results, in our relationships, we don't have results, there's nobody to blame. There's no power in blaming others or even ourselves. It is to look at the results and say, whoever I've been being and doing has created this result. I'm going to take 100% responsibility that I created this result. So if I created this result and it's not the result I want, then I've got to shift who I'm being and what I'm doing. Most importantly, who I'm being, because the doing of our business, the steps are so simple. But if I'm self-sabotaging, then I need to look at that, like, why am I self-sabotaging? Why am I afraid to talk to people? Why am I not setting goals? Why am I not taking action? Why am I allowing myself to get frustrated? Why am I attracting critical people, right? And these are the questions that are powerful to look at. And then I think what we'll find in that is like, I picked up that way of being when I was 5 years old or 6 or 10 years old. I got wounded there some way, somehow. Either I did something that I shouldn't have done, or somebody did something that they probably shouldn't have done, and I ended up getting wounded, and then I decided this is what it meant, right? That that love is not safe, that success is you know, you got to be bad to be successful, or rich people are pigs. we get all these kind of crazy beliefs that we decided when we were 5 years old. Either we were spoken that over us, or we decided that, and we forget it. We forgot. And here we are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, still being run by that wound and by that message. So the law of magnetism applies 24/7, just like the law of gravity. Whether I believe in gravity or not, it's working. If I walk off my balcony, I'm on the 34th floor, the law of gravity is going to take effect. And the law of magnetism as well. So the good news is that we can focus on that transformation, right? And if you're struggling with transforming in an area, do what the last slides are saying here, is look for a mentor. Someone who's already achieved what you're wanting to achieve, and be coachable. They might tell you to do things that are uncomfortable, but if you're coachable, that there's no growth in comfort. If we just stay being who we're being and doing what we're doing, we're going to get the same result. So the only way to move forward is to get out of that comfort zone and into that place of being uncomfortable for a while, until we can incorporate a new way of thinking, new patterns of thinking, new patterns of behaving, and you know, it's doable, and especially when you involve, you know, the spiritual side. Now, not all spiritual sides are good. Like, there's some pretty dark spiritual stuff out there. So I just find somebody that you know, you like who they're being and what they've achieved. Great call, Scarlett. Those are my thoughts.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey. It's a great feedback. Thank you so much. So we are going to end the webinar. It was great. Thank you so much for your participation. And from my part, I'm Scarlett Mancini from Boynton Beach, Florida.
Thank you all for a great call. This is Charmaine Chang from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
And this is Jeffrey Lee from Miami, Florida. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Thanks so much.